The day those fake HOA cops smashed my son's wheelchair, I knew our quiet suburban life was about to explode. I'm Michael Harper, just a dad who thought moving to Willow Creek would give my boy, Ethan, a safe place to heal after a car wreck left him unable to walk. Ethan's 12, a kid with a spark that no accident could dim, painting bold colors to make sense of his world, his wheelchair his ticket to freedom. We left the city for peace, for manicured lawns and friendly waves, but what we got was a nightmare dressed up in navy polos and cheap badges. Willow Creek looked like a postcard, neat hedges, pastel houses, dogs that didn't dare bark. I thought it was perfect for Ethan, a place where he could roll down sidewalks and feel like any other kid. But the cracks showed fast. A glossy HOA pamphlet landed in our mailbox, packed with rules. No basketball hoops, no unapproved yard decor, no cars parked overnight. Controlling, sure, but I figured we'd play along. We even painted our mailbox to match their precious color scheme. Anything to keep the peace. Then Ethan came home one day, his voice shaky, saying two guys in a golf cart labeled HOA security stopped him on his way to the park. They demanded a permit for his wheelchair, their reflective shades glinting like they were cops in a bad movie. He was too stunned to argue, so he wheeled back home. I laughed it off, told him they must have mixed him up with someone else, but not twisted in my gut. A few days later, a yellow notice was slapped on our door. Violation. Unauthorized mobility de VYC on common sidewalks. My blood froze. Who calls a kid's wheelchair a violation? I stormed to the HOA office, where a receptionist with a fake smile ushered me to a board member who droned about approvals and noise concerns from Ethan's wheelchair motor. I lost it, yelling that the Americans with Disabilities Act wasn't a suggestion. He shrugged, said this was private property with its own rules. I left fuming, promising Ethan we'd fix this, but he just whispered, "It's okay, Dad. I'll stay inside." That broke me. My kid, who'd fought so hard to stay bright, was ready to hide to avoid trouble. The HOA's golf carts started circling our street like sharks, jotting notes every time Ethan dared wheel outside. Neighbors whispered about similar run-in zone, said her daughter's medical scooter got her harassed. Another got fined for a walker left in their driveway. It was like any sign of disability was a crime against Willow Creek's perfect image. I tried digging into the HOA's rules, but their binder was a maze of nonsense about paint hues and mailbox heights, nothing about wheelchairs. Still, those fake cops kept coming. One Saturday, Ethan wanted to sketch the flower beds in the community garden. He was brave, refusing to let fear cage him. I let him go, but trailed behind, phone ready to record. Halfway there, I heard the golf carts whine. Hiding behind a hedge, I watched two goons roll up to Ethan. "You're an eyesore," one sneered, ruining the neighborhood's aesthetic. Before Ethan could speak, the other guy grabbed his wheelchair's handle, and his buddy stomped the wheel, snapping the metal like it was nothing. Ethan lurched, arms flailing, as plastic shards hit the ground. My heart pounded, but I kept recording, shaking with rage. They muttered threats about fining me for defiance and sauntered off, Leah VY-ing Ethan trembling. I rushed to him, helping him balance in the wrecked chair. "I'm so sorry," I choked out, pushing him home as he bit back tears. The image of his broken wheelchair burned into Maya Kid's lifeline, smashed for no reason but cruelty. That was it. They didn't know who I was. See, I wasn't just a dad. Before Willow Creek, I worked in a federal unit, running stings on corrupt officials, building cases that left crooks nowhere to hide. I quit for a normal life, but normal was the last thing I found here. I booted up my old laptop, pulling up encrypted files from my past contacts, strategies, legal know-how. I organized the footage, time-stamped their threats, and called an old colleague, Sarah Miles, now with the State Attorney General's office. I sent her the VY Deo, labeled assault and impersonation. She was horrified, saying if these guys were posing as cops, it was a felony plus battery on a minor. We hatched a plan. I'd gather more EVY Denke, confirm their funding, and she'd coordinate with police. Ethan barely spoke that week, his art supplies untouched, his spark fading. I ached to confront those men, but I needed them locked up, not me. I went back to the HOA office, posing as an annoyed homeowner, asking for records on their security. The receptionist fumbled, and the HOA head, Diane Kessler, gave me a rehearsed smile, dodging questions about their authority. Her vagueness screamed, "Cover up." I started suspecting they were funneling HOA dues into a private vigilante squad. I installed a hidden camera on our porch, catching the goons snapping photos of our house, and Leah notices one claimed our yard was non-compliant because Ethan's broken chair was Cybele. They bragged on tape about getting rid of us. Each clip tightened my case. Sarah said we needed them to admit posing as police. So I confronted them in my driveway, camera rolling. "Are you cops or just HOA grunts?" I demanded. One flashed a cheap badge, smirking. "We enforce the law here. That's all you need to know." Gotcha. Word spread about an HOA meeting to push harsher rules on mobility aids. It was my chance. Sarah had real cops ready to move if the fakes claimed authority publicly. I told Ethan to stay home for safety, though he wanted to see them fall. At the packed community hall, Diane sat on stage with the two goons, their glares daring me to act. She rambled about standards, code for hating anything imperfect, like Ethan's wheelchair. Then the tall one grabbed the mic, boasting they could issue citations, make arrests, uphold Willow Creek's law. That was it. A deputy's voice cut through. "What agency do you represent?" The crowd froze as he flashed a real badge. The fake cop stammered, "We're with the HOA," but it was over. Deputies swarmed, cuffing them for impersonation, assault, and civil rights violations. Diane screeched about overreach, but a warrant nailed her for funding the scam and discriminating against disabled residents. The room erupted. Some cheered. Others gasped, phones recording as the truth hit. I stood there, heart racing, watching those men glare as they were dragged out. "You don't know what you've done," one hissed. I stared back, thinking of Ethan's tears, my calm saying, "You picked the wrong family." Neighbors mobbed me, spilling stories of fines, threats, and fear. One woman sobbed about her mom's ramp being torn down. It was like the whole town exhaled, finally free to speak. Back home, Ethan's worry melted when I told him the cops were gone, Diane was under investigation, and the HOA scam was dead. He smiled a real, bright smile I hadn't seen in weeks. Over time, Willow Creek changed. The new HOA board apologized, vowing inclusive rules. Lawsuits piled up, and the news blasted the story, exposing the cruelty behind the suburb's facade. Ethan started wheeling to the park again, sketching VYD scenes, even poking fun at the golf cart goons in a cartoon. His humor was healing him. Diane, out on bail, begged to meet at a cafe, claiming she never meant harm. Her hair was a mess, her polish gone. She said it was about standards, then offered to buy Ethan a new chair if I'd say he lied about the assault. I walked out disgusted, her greed and bias laid bare. At home, I told Ethan, who asked if people like her ever learn. "Some do, some don't," I said. "But we're free now." We hosted a barbecue, and neighbors we barely knew showed up, praising Ethan's art, offering supplies. It felt like the real Willow Creek kind, not cruel. The trials came, and my Deos, notes, testimonies buried the fakes and Diane. The judge ripped into them for targeting vulnerable people. Ethan exhaled when I told him it was over, his paintings bursting with life again. One evening, we strolled at sunset, Ethan joking about sketching swan-shaped bushes. I teased that I'd sick real security on anyone who complained. He asked about my past, so I told him about my federal days, fighting corruption, quitting for him. He thanked me, not just for this fight, but for being ready for it. At a gallery event for his art, neighbors marveled, one tearing up over how Ethan's courage woke the town. I couldn't have been prouder. Looking back, it's wild to think a suburb hid such brazen cruelty, smashing a kid's wheelchair to keep up appearances. My old skills tore their fake badges down, and Ethan's bravery lit the way. Now, when he rolls to the park, I feel gratitude. We fought hostility and won a stronger bond, a better town, and a truth. No fake badge trumps decency. A wheelchair isn't an ice or a lifeline. That's Willow Creek's lesson now. So what do you think? Should I have confronted those thugs myself, risked it all in a fist fight, or was the legal route the only way? Could Ethan have healed without seeing them cuffed, or was justice his real medicine? And what about Dianito you by her standards excuse, or was it pure prejudice? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button if this got your blood pumping, and subscribe for more stories that'll keep you hooked.